What makes a house a home? Over 8 weeks, 21 homes bursting with style and character are competing to be crowned Home of the Year. In the series so far, the judges have travelled the country, finding extraordinary homes worthy of a place in the final. Making the tough decisions are design legend Hugh Wallace, architect Declan O'Donnell, and interior designer Deirdre Whelan.
This competition is not about what people have spent, it's about how they've created a home for themselves.
In this competition, I'm looking for individuality. I want to see the homeowner's lifestyle coming through in the design. I love it. I love the artwork, the personality of the owner coming through. Fantastic.
I'm looking for well-designed, usable spaces that really work. This has to come before everything else, so it's really critical for me.
It's really crisp.
I'm really pleased that they've kept the proportions of this hallway as it originally was.
Tonight, the judges will visit 3 more unique homes, scoring them based on functionality, individuality, and clever design. The home with the highest score will go through to the final. But there can only be one winner. This is Home of the Year. When Emma Hogan and her partner Andrew Hersey decided to buy an old cottage in County Clare, they undertook an ambitious renovation project to create their dream home.
We bought the cottage in 2010, and the night we came to see the cottage and went out the back field, we just sat down and lay down in the grass and we looked around, and it really felt like home from straight away.
The cottage was pretty much uninhabitable. We had to gut the interior of the cottage completely.
We added on 2 separate buildings that literally just lean up against the cottage but don't take away from it. So there's the kitchen building and then a separate little block for our bedroom. This is part of the house that we love. We wanted to have a Moroccan tile floor, but we couldn't actually afford to tile the whole floor with the Moroccan tiles, so we decided to create a patchwork effect using white tiles as well.
I think both our personalities are in this house.
I bring colour to the house, definitely, more than Andrew does.
I like grey. Both have kind of a design background, so we're very interested in the quirky kind of architecture.
I think we try to make it just a very touchy-feely house, so that when you go around it feels very warm and inviting. So this is our favourite spot in the house. It's where the old part of the cottage meets the new part of the extension that we built on. It's also got this wonderful welcome wall where all our friends and family have written really lovely messages to us. I suppose the house makes me feel very proud. I love that it feels really cosy, and it's just such a lovely space to be in.
The judges must now assess the home, armed with only the basic facts about the property and its owners.
A very picturesque country cottage.
This is really interesting.
Yeah, it's obviously a very small cottage from the footprint, but I mean, the height that you get when you come in kind of really makes it.
With really small spaces like you have in a cottage like this, opening up the roof is probably the best way to make it feel twice as big.
There's a lovely sense of warmth and comfort. Great textures, materials, love the colours, love this red fireside chair and this little cat cushion. Isn't that fantastic?
I like the fact that the porch has been picked out in a different colour, and then the wooden slatting against the white walls.
Yeah, that's the original window as well. Looks like they've kept that.
The work they've done, the restoration is very respectful, and you still have the old elements of the architecture. So I think this is a very clever piece of design.
Yeah.
Wow.
What a really cool bathroom.
We have a complete collection of materials, walls, textures, and they shouldn't work because it's all a bit of a hodgepodge.
Yeah.
It works perfectly.
Yeah.
Double height space, and the light brings a bit of character into the space as well, doesn't it?
The tiles on the floor are ingenious. The attention to detail and creativity is just extraordinary.
What I actually really love is the fact you have this. I'm in heaven here because I love a window and a shower, and this one's openable. You can walk out, air dry in the sunshine, and then come back in again.
I think this is the best bathroom I've actually ever seen.
This is actually a really nice moment in the cottage because you can really see the old and the new sitting side by side. I mean, big old wall there, you know, that big piece of timber.
And I like the fact that they've used this wall almost like an art wall where they display their pictures from their travels and their history. It just tells something about them.
Yeah.
This home is about fun. You can see it in the personality and the objects and the bits and pieces. Love it. So this is obviously an extension. I love that big window out to the garden. This space is quite intriguing.
And actually, I say it's their favourite spot as well, which adds to the intrigue because it's not a bedroom, it's not a living room.
You've got the blackboard wall. There's lots of messages on it, and it evokes emotions for them, happy emotions. I think that's what it's about. Master bedroom. Very calming, very restful. I like the colour tones, the fact that the walls are all off-white, the use of the textures, and then just the bit of fun of the Z's on the wall.
Yeah.
It's really super.
This room works really well. And I just love this wall because you have a random selection of different items and they've been assembled perfectly. These people have such an eye for detail.
And they have the walk-in wardrobe, which is, you know, this is in the old part of the cottage. I mean, that wall's 100 years old. The cut stone, all that character, you know, it's great to actually have that in a bedroom.
If I was to make one bit of criticism, I think it's the choice of the flooring that they've used in here. They've gone for a sisal matting. It's a bit coarse underfoot.
Oh, I don't agree. I think actually it's a soft sisal and it works. Come on, get the feet out. Come on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, I'll have to admit defeat. I was surprised that that carpet was actually quite soft underfoot. So Hugh was right. What another great space.
When you come from the cottage, which was quite intimate, into this space is terrific. That big high ceiling, and then you got these great views out to the garden.
I love the fact that this does feel like its own separate building, and it's kind of mirroring the form of the original cottage as well, which is really nice.
It's revealing, I think, quite a lot about the people who live here. They're very relaxed, very easygoing. You know, that's a plywood wall, which a lot of people would tend to paint, but they've decided to leave it for what it is. There's a nice feeling of different textures and materials. They're having a bit of fun here in the kitchen, you know, with the colour yellow, and then the Perspex backing, which obviously is very easy to keep clean. It's very functional.
But it's all affordable. Anybody could do this amazing home with creativity and style, which they obviously have in abundance. And there's just a consistency, warmth and comfort that we've seen throughout the house that just comes through in everything.
The home will now be marked out of 10. One score will be held back until the judges have seen all 3 homes, when their combined scores will be revealed.
What I like here is that the architecture of the extension echoes the simplicity and form of the original building. They're 100 years apart, so it's like a reboot of what a traditional cottage is. I think if you restore a cottage like this, you end up having a unique connection with your home, and that really shows here. I'm giving it an 8.
What a fabulous home. This is a home filled with happiness. Their choice of furniture and colours throughout the home are very calming and restful, but also there's an element of fun. I'm going to give it a 9.
This home has everything I'm looking for in this competition. Great functionality, an abundance of personality, and to cap it all, the owners have a great sense of clever design.
Architect Clodagh Nolan bought her first floor apartment on Dublin's south side in 2007 and immediately set to work putting her own unique stamp on the property.
As an architect, I enjoy working with small spaces, bringing out the best in existing structures, and I like to think I've done that here. I remodeled the flat completely, and the only internal wall now standing that was here when I bought it is the chimney stack. I love the space, I love the high ceilings, I love the light. What I have here is really my lifetime collection of the works that I love. This is my 1950s Danish teak table and chairs. It was in my family home when I was growing up, and I've been dining off this for more decades than I care to remember. I like relaxing on the sofa with my dog Luna beside me while I'm reading or listening to the radio. It's a lovely calming space. I've chosen a chair in the living room as my favourite spot. It has a wonderful aspect on both sides. It's a good centre point of the flat. I've lived in a lot of houses. This is the best home I've ever lived in.
appears to be quite old. Would it be early 1800s?
Yeah. I actually think this is an apartment, which is very exciting.
Sugar and spice and all things nice. It's like a candy cake.
I think we should go in.
Yeah.
Let's.
Nice light.
Really nice little arrival. I had a tutor at college who always said, when you climb a staircase, you should be rewarded. And yeah, here, nice window, lovely and bright. Simple.
Ooh, goodness me. I love the height in this room. And then the fact that the room flows into another room on both sides of that wall. The colour palette, it's really easy on the eye. The fact that they've just used a small bit of timber in the upper section of the kitchen, and then it's brought down with a stainless steel backsplash, which reflects the colours that are in the room. The use of warm whites, soft greys, anything that has a kind of a powdery tone to it can make a room very calming and very restful.
I think the windows are very effective because you get that dual aspect. With a small footprint like this, you have to really maximise every square inch that you can. I think the high-level storage is particularly effective at doing that.
And what I think is great is we have that sugar and spice outside, and we have the exact opposite in here.
Yeah.
You're given this very simple, beautifully elegant architectural space with amazing details. Like, I love that shadow gap at the floor and wall, which means that the wall looks as if it's floating. This beautiful chair, 50 or 60 years old. This is a classic. And so I think the person who lives here has a real key eye for design detail.
Yeah, and look at that for beautiful detailing as well. You know, the nice simple shelving, gorgeous ceramics on display.
I think the ceramic pieces have been collected over a very long time. They're so delicate and refined. They're just amazing. And here we are in the living room. A lovely proportioned room.
It's a real luxury actually to have in an apartment. You don't expect to see the high ceilings and the big kind of period sash windows either. It allows all that light to come in, you know, it feels more like a house.
We have this thing in Ireland that everybody needs to own their own house. I'm actually thrilled we have an apartment in the competition because, you know, when you look at something like this, it just shows you how great they can be.
And here we have their favourite spot. Look at that fantastic view looking out into that magnificent landscape. I'm quite envious of the person who owns this apartment because their attention to detail is flawless. However, for me, I just love to have had a splash of colour, bit of texture, because I think it would have brought warmth and comfort to this apartment.
Yeah, I disagree, Hugh. I think that there is plenty of texture in here. The sofa is not very rigid. It's got loads of little cushions on. It's got a throw on it. The same with the chair. I could really sit down here and relax for the evening. Oh, nice secret door. That's very nice.
I just love that detail where you have the flush door and wall. Really crisp.
This is the master bedroom.
Very nice. Again, bright room, high ceilings. It's all very calming.
Yeah, actually, when you open the door again and you look back, you begin to see how clever they've been with the layout here. It's obviously one big rectangle, but they've chopped it up into different rooms. But when the doors are all open, you get these really lovely long lines. So, you know, in a small space, that's a really effective way to make it feel a lot bigger.
I just think looking at the wardrobes, I'd love to have seen again a bit of colour and texture, maybe even leather. Sort of the same colour as Declan's shoes would have been terrific.
Leather on the wardrobes. Hugh Wallace, I think you've gone mad.
Shall we find the bathroom then? Yeah, I have to say, I expected exactly this. The grey mosaic tiles, the wooden flooring carried through, and the fact that it's got natural daylight in here when you're doing your makeup or if you're shaving. It's just a very functional bathroom.
Simple.
Yeah. Great workspace.
Yeah, they've actually done really well to carve out this office in a very, very tight footprint. Like, I love the fact they just have loads of kind of pictures and paintings up. And there's actually tons of personality in this tiny little office.
I think the desk is very clever because it actually conceals the staircase ceiling, which is under it. So this is a really good piece of design.
This is a thought-out, elegant and well-executed home. I like the soft, quiet tones and the fabrics. I'm giving it an 8.
I love the contrast between the outside and the modern, crisp interior. The owner's creativity and attention to design detail comes through in every aspect of this home. I give this home an 8.
With an apartment, you're operating within a definitive space, really, so you have to embrace clever design to maximize every square inch. The homeowner here has really done that. They also know that clean lines and fine detail play a key role in making this space feel bigger than it actually is, and that impressed me.
Artists and lecturers John Short and Helen Pumphrey bought their South Dublin semi-detached house in 2008 and set about reimagining it to make a home, gallery and studio space for their work.
It was just a standard 1960s house, and we just felt that we could make it a bit more attractive, I guess. It wasn't particularly attractive.
We did everything that we could to it. It would have been cheaper to knock the whole thing down. We did a wraparound extension at the side, and we went out by a metre or so at the front, and the big thing was to lower the floor and give us a lot more volume.
We wanted to create vistas from the interior of the house out into the garden and be able to enjoy that aspect of it.
We both work here. Helen has a studio and I have a studio up at the top of the house. It was always our intention to have the house as a sort of gallery. There are aspects of it that I think have been done really well, largely due to Helen's achievements here. She designed the whole thing. This is our favourite spot, and this is where Helen and I would like to sit in the mornings and in the afternoons. We just really enjoy sitting here, looking out onto this other aspect of the house.
It's the home of the year to us because
we've made it work for us.
We've made it work for us.
It's a semi-detached with a contemporary extension.
I like the big windows as you come in.
It's a huge window.
Yeah.
It's actually very crisp, modern renovation, isn't it? I'm just trying to figure out the layout here. That was obviously an extension that you come through. It wraps around and it plugs back into the house here. This is probably the original hallway.
Interesting. Loads of artwork on the wall as well.
I think we might be in the home of the artist, possibly, because there are so many original pieces.
Art is something that people need to enjoy when they have it in their house. And you really got a sense of that in this home.
Goodness, isn't that great? You can open those up. And it just allows that light back into that hall.
Very nice room. I like the fact that the polished floor runs through. They've defined the seating area with a big rug.
Yeah, it's a very well-proportioned room. It's obviously the sunnier side of the house, so they've made their own private garden there, which is great.
I think the owners understood the orientation of this house, which is terrific, because they have created that private space out the front, which faces west.
That feels like the back of the house.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's at the front. Yeah, it's very clever.
One of the things I'd observe in this room, I find the fireplace, when you look at the layout of the furniture, is in the wrong location. They could have put the fireplace here and put the connection into the flue. I think it would have made a huge difference to this room.
Yeah, I agree.
Really compact kitchen and dining space, but look, it's all about the windows and that garden and the colour that's been brought into the space. It's lovely.
Yeah, I like that really interesting high skirting detail that runs around. And the rug kind of defines what is the dining space and what is the functional kitchen area.
I think the colour palette here, which is just a slight grey, that colour, the pictures and the originals just sit so nicely on that wall. And we just have a nice splash of blue in the kitchen.
It's actually a really functional layout as well. Very simple L-shape, tons of storage. And this island unit, you know, and the height of it, I mean, it's actually quite narrow, but it's a really practical and functional piece of design.
And here we have their favourite spot, that lovely big window looking out onto the garden. It must be amazing to sit here for dinner and watch the colours change and the light change and the seasons change.
Yeah, it's a really good choice.
The renovation here is exceptional, and it shows what you can do with good design.
The master bedroom. Like the big window and quite an interesting colour on the wall. It seems to be almost like a really soft grey.
Loved the headboard. Could have done without the wallpaper.
Yeah, I'm not so keen on the wallpaper either, but I think they've lit the bed really well. Again, nice big window, so when you're lying on the bed, it's all about the treetops. They've just kept things really, really simple.
I'd like to have seen some of that personality we saw downstairs in the artwork coming up here, particularly those little flashes of colour.
Do you know, I think they've got their splash of colour in their piece of furniture here, and I think they've kept the artwork out of it because I think it reminds them too much of work.
True.
Aha! An artist studio.
I think it all makes sense now, seeing the artwork downstairs. There's obviously an artist living here. It's great that it's actually up in the attic as well, because we always forget that you can use your attic space, and they have a rubber floor, so it's super practical.
I mean, you're looking across the rooftops here and seeing the sea view beyond. You must be really inspired to work in here.
Yeah.
Declan, the artist obviously knows you. Look, it's you in your shirt.
That's you dancing behind me, Hugh.
Terrific. This is a well-executed renovation which not only has created a great home, but a studio for the owners as well. The garden acts as the focal point in the living, kitchen and dining room by way of those great big picture windows. They're amazing. I give this house an 8.
The refurbishment of this semi-detached house poses a common problem when it comes to orientation, which is what to do when the sunny side of the house is at the front. And what I like here is that the owners really tackle this when redesigning their layout. I'm giving it an 8.
I love the way the owners have used their artwork to bring fun and colour into their home. Their personality shines through. This is a creative and comfortable home.
Now that the judges have viewed all 3 homes, it's time to find out how they measure up against each other. First, Hugh reveals what he gave the extended cottage.
This was everything. It was personality, it was clever design. Loved those tiles in the floor in the bathroom. I just adored and loved this cottage from start to finish, and I gave it a 10.
Super!
An 8, a 9 and a 10, 27.
Next, Declan reveals his score for the Dublin apartment.
An apartment. I was actually really pleased to see this in the competition. Lots of clean detailing, very, very crisp, very cleverly laid out series of spaces as well. I actually really, really liked it, and I give it an 8.
Fair score.
3 8s, so we're all in agreement, which doesn't happen very often. 24.
And finally, Deirdre reveals how she scored the renovated Semi-D.
This was a very crisp home, and I liked the flow of finishes that they'd used throughout. I loved the way they used their artwork to bring lots of colour and fun into the home. And that studio up on the top floor was just totally amazing. I gave it an 8.
3 8s, 24. I think it had a lot to offer.
But we have the winner, that amazing country cottage. I just loved it.
I'm glad you pushed the boat out, because this is a really unique home.
You got a real sense of happiness in this home, and that made it really special.
So our next house through to the final is the extended cottage in County Clare. Next week, the search continues for Home of the Year.